Well, a very good day to you. Welcome to today's episode of The Big Question. I'm your host here, Simon Irungu, and this is The Big Question. Always joined in here by the resident guest, Professor Herman Manyora. How are you doing, sir? I love the shirt.
Good, thank you.
Anyway, how are you doing from our last meetup?
We are doing well.
You're good?
Very well.
Okay, now I want to thank the audience for always taking their time and resources, always here to support us, to look out what we have for the episode. And by the way, you have a new show, Prof.
Yes, it's called...
What's the inspiration of the new show?
Let's Talk Love, Kenya. Okay. Just looking at how differences have engulfed the country because of politics, how friends are losing each other. Even where I work, people no longer talk together. You look at the WhatsApp groups of professors, and the hate, you can touch the hate, you can feel it.
People who have actually been working together.
You can touch it, not feel it. You can touch the hate on a WhatsApp group. I say no. In families, there is divorce because your wife is a Kalenjin and you are a Luo. I mean, because of politics. So I think we need a conversation around love in families.
Okay.
Over many things that divide families. After we are through with the politics, we'll look at other things.
Well, let's talk love. Check out the new channel. Professor always with the interesting conversation. He's going to be talking love to all Kenyans. Well, let's dive into today's conversation, or rather today's question. Now, the question for today is, we saw the situation that took place for Gideon Moi. He lost the senatorial bid in Baringo, Prof. Yes. We see the situation in Rongai. His brother, that is Raymond Moi, it's not looking so well. The Kenya Kwanza team against him. Yes. We don't see the situation really going to play well for him. Yes. Now, the question is, do you think the Moi's family is going to reclaim the place they had in Kenyan politics?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes some of these things are just temporal. Okay?
Okay.
You remember in Malawi, the Independence Party, Banda's party, came back and is in power. I think he's in power or something like that. Sometimes you can go, disappear, but then you can come. Sometimes a strong man, many times, in literature we say fire begets ash. When you are a powerful man like Moi, your children may just be ash and useless. But your grandchildren, some of them can come up and reclaim the space. But again, still depending on the politics. Even Gideon Moi can reclaim his space or he can disappear. But it must be a wake-up call to political families, rich families. They need to have friends who have read a bit of history, students of history like Manyora, who tell them, when you look at how successful families collapse, how empires collapse, kingdoms collapse, how political families collapse, how countries and dictators lose it, sometimes you just laugh. In other words, you get to a point where you are in a dictator's prison. You don't see anything other than what people around you are making you see.
Okay.
And they are cheering you. So even when you are crumbling and going, you are a Moi, you are a Kenyatta, you are not seeing it. It's a dictator's trap. You know, people around you just make you see one part of the world from one narrow window.
Okay.
Sometimes you wonder, should they have collapsed? You know what? In Africa, and especially Kenya, politics and the money go hand in hand. Not that you use money to get power. I'm talking about it is a powerful politically, also powerful economically. You get it? So if Moi and the Kenyattas go down, they'll have themselves to blame. Because when people like Ruto take over, they will want both money and political power.
Okay.
And they cannot get the space if you are occupying that space. They will toss you out.
Okay.
Yes.
Now let's focus on the Moi family, Prof. Now, Kenyan politics it's always about tribe. And the first step for you in order to become a big person, to vie for the big seat, that the presidency seat, you have to have the full support of your backyard, Prof. Looking at Moi, is he going to be a match for William Ruto, maybe even in the future? It
depends on how Ruto plays his politics. Supposing Ruto is denied victory this time, and the Raila takes over and the Uhurus continue, certainly Gideon Moi will be a major player in that dispensation. But if Ruto is confirmed, he will make sure he deals with... Because if you don't deal with Gideon, if you don't deal... You remember how they almost frustrated, and actually not just the word is not frustrated, an English word, humiliated Ruto. that he could not even pay Moi a visit at Kabarak when everybody was going. You think he'll forget those things? Ruto is a human being, just like you, Simon, and Manyora here. So he will deal with them. So if he wins, if he is confirmed, he will deal with them. This is why would you want to hide them? The fact is, Ruto will deal with them. And if I were Ruto, I would most likely will deal with them. Because you cannot sit very comfortable if certain people are around. You know, Kenyatta and Moi were the same people. So Moi had nothing to deal with Kenyatta. After Moi, Kibaki and Moi and Kenyatta, they were in the same WhatsApp group, as young people say. Then Uhuru came. It's the same. If Ruto takes, it is the first time it is leaving that club. Don't be cheated. Kibaki took anything. That was more you gave him. Don't be cheated even one day. So from independence all the way to this election, if Ruto manages to become president, he'll be the first person, an outsider. I used to go to horse races. An outsider horse to win the race. It will be the first. And make no mistake, they will not sit pretty.
What the bad blood between Gideon Moi and William Ruto? We see William Ruto, when we go down in history, he was under the wing of the former president, that is Moi, Prof. Now, what was the reason for the bad blood between these two?
Again, history and human nature and psychology. People are never happy with the people who make them. If you look at history.
Who's not happy with who here?
If somebody help you to go up, especially if you are nothing like Ruto, and you are surrogate, you are Moi is breastfeeding you and everything, you don't want those people around you reminding you where you came from. It happens. If you look at history, there's a small weak person contesting for the throne. He's helped by people to become the king or the chief or whatever. He's never happy with those people, including North Korea recently. You will never be happy with them. So Ruto will not feel he's himself looking around and Gideons and they are saying we are the ones who if kama sio sisi ungekuwa wapi. You heard Ruto himself talk about Jirongo. Huyu jamaa bana unaona nilikuwa spanner boy yake. Sasa akiniona nikienda juu hivi sasa. It is in human nature. Even in human nature. Some people do not understand. That's part of what I'm going to be talking about in Let's Talk Love. You find a woman didn't go to school well. Then a man marries her. But the man has gone to school. Then because of this open learning now, you like a mama, anaenda, then you find this divorce. The woman has simply failed to handle that psychological problem of human beings not wanting to be reminded where they came from by people next to them. That kama si huyu jamaa kunipeleka shule, singekuwa. So that thing is disturbing her, but she doesn't know. Then she falls aside, then the family breaks. It's part of the issues I'm going to be bringing out. Some of them quite technical. This is not love about these love shows, no. Serious issues. So for Ruto, if it was not for Moi, there would be no Ruto in this country. At least. But again, it has been argued. There are some men, whatever roadblock you placed, whatever obstacles, they were made for great things they will be. So you can again explain Ruto in that manner. But under ordinary circumstances, we can say without Moi, there will be no Ruto.
Okay.
And he may not be very happy to be reminded that by people like Gideon. So, another kanyaga kidogo.
Okay, now, let me ask you this question. If William Ruto is announced to be the president of Kenya,
yes.
Now does Gideon Moi need him to be president, maybe sometimes in the future?
How can he? How?
What do you mean?
Kenyans are dealing with the issue of Kikuyu Kalenjin. Ruto will have a problem with propping up another Kalenjin. Even his own son, he will have a big problem. And in fact, the country will not accept it.
With what you're saying, what's the possibility of having a Kikuyu or a Kalenjin president in future?
It will be very. If you ask me, even these Gachagwas, the chances of succeeding Ruto are very difficult. First, Ruto himself may not allow it. He may prop up even weaker people like Mudavadi and solve the issue of Kalenjin Kikuyu, while at the same time ensuring he's succeeded by a weaker person. This is how strong men work. Nothing wrong with Ruto. Just strong men work like that. Secondly, you may fail to break the Kikuyu Kalenjin tie in 2022 and make Ruto president. How long can you do it in this country? In 10 years, you think the country will still give a Kalenjin after another Kalenjin power? My friend, that will not happen.
Okay.
No, that will not happen.
Now this is bad blood between William Ruto and Gideon Moi, and then
Yes, who says there's bad blood? There's no, these are just human beings.
Political. Okay, let me call it
bad
political
blood.
bad
Because
blood.
the both of them want the same girl to marry.
Who's this girl?
There's a girl called Kenya. Both of them want.
Okay, now why is then Rigathi Gachagua coming out in a strong way, leading the campaign actually in Rongai, trying? He's actually supporting Chebor. Is it Chebor, Mr.
Whatever name,
Mr.
yeah,
Paul Chebor.
some Kalenjin name. Yeah.
And do you think Rigathi Gachagua should be coming out and maybe
Yes and no.
campaigning for?
Just because they want more seats in parliament, but not because you have to be sensitive. Which the Ruto Gachagua side is missing that point. They will find it once they go. If they get the presidency, and they are closer to the president than any other person in Kenya, we are talking now about 5 days before it is known, 4 or 5 days. If they get the president, they will realize the things they are saying now will really come to haunt them. They will realize running a country is not easy. You cannot run a country on hate. I was talking to, let me not mention him.
Okay.
I was talking to somebody about 2 hours ago. And I was saying, when you see these people in Rongai beating Herman Manyora with a big rungu, they are so angry with him. What would they have been if they were Raila Odinga?
Okay.
The things Moi did to Raila Odinga, compared to what they are trying, the anger with which they are addressing themselves in Rongai against, tunangoa ile ya Moi, tunangoa. Supposing they are speaking with the experience of Raila under Moi, they will be working with AK-47 and shooting people. Because what Moi took Raila through, and yet you can see he can still contain himself and talk to Moi and laugh. These people, what has Moi done to them? He has brought them. They have fed on Moi's hand. And the anger, both of them, both Ruto and Rigathi, is Moi who brought them. They have fed on his hand. Why would you go against Moi's family with that kind of anger? Just take the seat. Just take the seat. Just take it. Just take the seat. Taking the seat from Herman Manyora is normal because you want numbers. This is politics. But the anger, the words you are using, kungoa ile Moi imebaki.
Okay, let me ask you this question in Kiswahili.
It's cheap.
Let me ask you this question in Kiswahili. Kwa nini Wakenya wanataka kungoa Moi?
Wameambiwa,
the name Moi.
Wameambiwa shida zenyu zote Kenya hii zinatokana na Kenyatta family, Jaramogi family, Moi family. Wameambiwa hivyo. Na ni kama sababu wako na shida, Wakenya wako na shida. Matatizo mengi, ukosefu wa kazi, ukosefu wa madawa kwa hospitali, chakula ni bei ghali, wanaumia. Wameambiwa hii shida yenyu yote ni Uhuru family ya Kenyatta, family ya Jaramogi, family ya Moi, na wameamini. Na ni ujinga lakini wameamini. Sababu si kweli.
Then how is
kitu kingine hawajaamini ni kwamba ambapo kitu kingine ambacho ni ujinga, tuongee Kiswahili, ni kwa sababu leo hii unaongea kuhusu Raila ambaye ni mtoto wa Jaramogi, alikuwa makamu wa rais miaka 2-3. Leo hii unaongea kuhusu Uhuru Kenyatta ambaye babake alikuwa rais wa Kenya. Leo hii unaongea kuhusu Gideon Moi na Herman Manyora ambaye babaye alikuwa rais. Lakini kesho, je, wakati Nick Ruto atataka kuwa kitu, tutamkataza kwa sababu babake alikuwa William Ruto?
Is that the conversation?
Yeye Gachagua nikimalizia kwa Kiswahili, labda hangepata kiti cha Madhira na leo hii awe amefika mahali amefika kama ndugu yake Gachagua hakukuwa gavana wa Mbeya, gavana wa Nyeri, na akakuwa mgonjwa sana siku nyingi, na yeye ndio alikuwa anamshughulikia kazi zake, na akapata kujulikana na akashinda kiti. Kwa hivyo huo ni upumbavu kwamba shida za watu zinatokana na familia moja au mbili. Si ukweli, na pia ni hatari kwa sababu unapanda kasumba ndani ya watu ambaye hata wewe hiyo itakuja kukuuma. Unanielewa bwana? Shida za watu zitaonekana na Raila, Moi, Gideon na Uhuru. Leo baada tumemalizana na hao, tutasonga ngazi ya chini kidogo, itaweka Gachagua, Uhuru, Ruto. Tena tutasonga ngazi ya chini kidogo, itaweka Sudi, Murkomen, Ishungwa. Tutasonga mpaka tutafikia Manyora. Utaishia wapi? Sasa itafika mahali kwamba hata mtu akipita na kagari kadogo, hawa matajiri ndio wanafanya tuumie. Ndio nakwambia ni ujinga na ni hatari. So as we finish, back to English, there is nothing wrong with going for the Rongai seat. That's politics. You need the numbers. But the vengeance, the anger, approach, the language they are using against the Moi family, and it is from people who would be nothing today if it was not for Moi. It is not good. It's not good. You know, I always wish to keep some respect myself. Maybe I'm old-fashioned. I want to keep respect for people. I want to celebrate people who have helped me in life if they are there, even in a small way. I want to imagine the difference between you and an animal is that you can make sense of things. Kuna ile shame on you. Unakuwa na shame on you. Watu wasabanga. Ukuwe na nini? Some shame on you. Ikuwe na wewe. That's what is the difference between you and a dog. Wewe uko na kale ka shame on you. Watu wameona tu mtu akikulisha wewe ukikuwa kama mtu na shati moja bila suruali. Mpaka umefika umekuwa mwanaume. Na unageuka unaongea matope juu yake. Even people don't respect you. They may respect you and cheer you because of the politics today. But the politics always turn. So yes, they can take the Rongai seat. And they have no problem taking it. It's the simplest thing they can do. They have done greater things. But the insults directed against the Moi family is unbecoming of people who want to lead the country.
Okay, now we as Kenyans, do we need to get away or to get rid or rubbish this hashtag of Kenyans suffering because of Odingaism, Kenyattaism?
Then you will never solve your problems. We will never solve our problems. When I hear people saying, and I'm going to do a video on this, tumeng'oa Uhuru, tumeng'oa Kenyatta. Wakikuyu wang'oe watu walichukua mashamba yao. Hizo mashamba za kahawa ni za Wakikuyu Ahoi. Wale walitolewa kwa mashamba yao wakapelekwa wapi? Kwa concentration camps. Those villages. When they came back from their villages, their land had been taken by home guards. Why can't they take it? That time I will believe them. That time I will believe them. I'm not going to believe them because of Kenyatta. Kenyatta is just one of he was at the top. But there's a whole class of Kikuyus. The day will approach those and tell them, nyinyi, hii mashamba ilikuwa ya baba yetu. Tunataka kuchukua leo. Okay. Bila kumwaga damu, bila kupigana. Wewe hama tu. Tutakuachia kaeka moja ukae hapo kwa nyumba yako. Hii ingine tunagawana ilikuwa yetu. Wakifanya hivyo ndawaheshimu. But I cannot celebrate the fact that I have dealt with the Kenyatta family. No, it was not Kenyatta alone. It's many Kenyans who after independence, instead of giving land to those who had fought for land, took the land for themselves. That's the fact, the truth. The truth is, a class of Kenyans, a group of Kenyans, possessed the land which Kenyans had been fighting for. Is that not true?
That's true.
Why are you not going for that land? So you go for Kenyatta and then that is why struggles are rarely won. Because we have always the wrong target. So once you have the wrong target, you jump in the street, we have succeeded, we have said, hallelujah, hallelujah, we have succeeded, and you have not succeeded. You know what happens next? When the Kenyattas disappear, other dynasties are formed. The Gachagwas, the Rutos, and it continues on and on. So people should not celebrate the mere fact that you are dealt with one family.
Okay. Yeah. Now let's wrap up the conversation with this final question. Keep it short and brief. Okay, now we started off the conversation with this question of do you think Moi's family is going to reclaim their place in Kenyan politics? And you said yes or no.
Yes.
Now, what is the possibility?
It depends on how this election go. If Ruto is given the president, they'll find it very difficult for them because Ruto is a tough man. He wants to be powerful, he's ambitious, and that doesn't leave room for Gideon. Okay? Secondly, even if nothing happened to Gideon or anything, do you think Kenyans will elect another Kalenjin after Ruto? It will be very difficult.
Let's wrap up the conversation at that. Well, thank you so much for staying through the video. I'm a host here, Simon Irungu. This is The Big Question. Well, till you have this episode again, enjoy the rest of your day.